I was recently called upon to babysit my niece. My sister and her husband were traveling out of state for a wedding, considering we live in the same town. And I come at the cheap cost of a large cheese pizza. I was my sister's first call. That's what family is for. As I made my way through the front door, I barely had time to drop my overnight bag on the floor before being led away by tiny hands towards the living room. After sipping on only the finest selection of pretend tea, we were conversing over pizza slices. More accurately, I was asking her about her life, and she was answering each question with genuine enthusiasm. The positivity and excitement in each answer she gave was infectious. You sometimes forget how optimistic of a worldview kids have when they're that young. We finished our pizza and it was time for bed. As I tucked her in and flicked off the light switch, I started to leave but stopped. I had almost forgotten to turn on her night light. My niece was deathly afraid of the dark, as I learned the last time I babysat. "Sweetheart, where's your night light?" "I don't see it. I don't need a night light anymore. I have Mr. Googly Eyes." "Mr. Googly Eyes? Who's that?" "He's my friend. He watches me when I sleep." "Okay, that's a bit disturbing. Why is he called Mr. Googly Eyes?" "Because that's his name, silly." "Well, that's what I call him because his eyes are like the googly eyes I use in art class." "His real name is really weird." "Why does he watch you when you sleep?" "Because he doesn't blink." "Why doesn't he blink?" "He can't. He doesn't have eyelids." That part freaked me out. Suddenly I had the urge to flip on the lights, but I remained calm and dug a bit deeper. "Oh, okay. Where is Mr. Googly Eyes now?" "I don't know. He only shows up when the lights are out after mommy and daddy are asleep. But I know he's in the room with me when I see his eyes in the dark." That was my cue to stop asking questions. I wished her good night and closed her door. Admittedly, I was now a little creeped out. I was going to have a serious talk with my sister and her husband when they got back. We are all big horror fans. Clearly her daughter had seen something they had watched from a movie or television show. I settled back on the couch with some leftover pizza and scrolled through my sister's streaming services. I needed something, anything to get my mind off the horrific image of Mr. Googly Eyes that was being crafted in my head. I settled on a comedy TV series and tried to relax. I may have been too relaxed because before I knew it I was fast asleep. I guess my niece's creepy night watcher hadn't gotten to me too much. At least that was what I thought. It may have only been a few hours later, but suddenly I was jarred awake from my peaceful sleep by what sounded like whispering in my ear. You ever reach the point of a nightmare where something so scary happens your vision goes out in the dream? It's terrifying. You still feel a presence around you, but your mind refuses to visualize it. I would have given anything for that to have happened to me when I finally met Mr. Googly Eyes. My niece was right. He doesn't blink, ever. She was also right about the fact he has no eyelids. But she was wrong. He doesn't only show up when the lights are out. I saw what watches my niece sleep at night. He was hairless from the shoulders up, cloaked in a black shroud, ears too small to be for anything for balance. His nose took rapid inhales before blowing hot air back into my face. The twin white shining bloodshot orbs, but blacklit cracked eggshells surrounding his eyes were scarlet rings of exposed skin. His mouth hung open and was nothing but a black hole. Then to my horror his lips uncurled and his gnarly caramel-colored teeth appeared. He whispered to me in his demented voice, "Go to sleep." In that moment I passed out. I awoke the next morning with the lights still on and the television screen asking if I wished to continue viewing. I needed a lot of things in that moment. Coffee, definitely. A therapist, perhaps. More than anything, I needed to make sure my niece was safe. I walked slowly to her room and opened the door, still sleeping without a care in the world. The innocence of youth on full display. I went through the motions the rest of my time there until my sister eventually returned home. I think she could sense something was off, but probably didn't feel like getting into it after a long trip. I thought that's why she called me today. Instead, I was getting attitude because her daughter now refused to go to sleep without a night light. I was confused and asked why. She said that through tears her daughter said that Mr. Googly Eyes couldn't watch over her anymore. He has to watch me sleep at night now.